They told you to control your anger. They never taught you how to protect your energy. That's the problem. You've been trying to find peace by fixing everything outside, when the real secret is learning how to stay untouched inside. And here's the truth. You don't need to react to win. What if I told you that 90% of your stress comes from how predictable your emotions are? People know what to say to set you off. Life knows how to knock you off center. But what if nothing could trigger you anymore? Not even your past. You're about to learn how to become the kind of person who feels everything, but responds to almost nothing. Not by shutting down, but by waking up. The universe never meant for you to carry so much emotional weight. This is your moment to let go and step into the version of you that no one can shake. Once you understand what I'm about to show you, nobody and nothing will ever affect you the same way again. You might think your pain comes from what happened, but here's the truth: what happened is just a fact. It's the story you told yourself about it that's kept you up at night. The universe isn't attacking you. It's your interpretation that's doing the damage. Let's say someone ignores your message. You could spiral, thinking you're not important, or you could remind yourself that their silence isn't about you. That pause in meaning is where your emotional immunity begins. You get to choose the narrative. And that choice, that's your power. You've been giving away that power without even knowing it. Every time you assume the worst, you hand your peace to someone else. But if you want to be unshakable, you've got to become the editor of your own mind. The secret is, it's not the event, it's your angle on it. The world won't always change. People won't always explain themselves. But when you learn to let go of the false stories and write a better one, the emotional hit loses its grip. And what happens next depends on how well you protect what's already yours. Every time you react to something petty, you're handing out pieces of your peace. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you're mad for an hour. A rude comment online, it ruins your whole day. But why let strangers rent space in your head for free? Here's the truth. Not everything deserves your energy. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. The more you let go of the need to respond, the more powerful you become. Silence isn't weakness, it's emotional intelligence in action. Imagine starting your day with just one rule. I won't give my power to anything that doesn't build me. That's not denial, it's discipline. You train yourself to pause, breathe, and ask, is this worth my peace? And most of the time, the answer is no. The universe will keep testing you until you stop reacting on autopilot. But once you do, something shifts. You become less predictable, less drained. And that space you used to fill with stress, it opens the door to something much more useful. You know that split second before you say something you'll regret? That's the doorway. That tiny moment holds more power than any comeback or reaction ever could. If you can master the pause, you can master your peace. Because the pause isn't passive, it's strategic. The truth is, most damage happens not from what others do, but from how quickly we react. You lash out, defend, over-explain, then regret it. But what if just once you paused instead, took a deep breath, counted to 5, gave yourself time to choose rather than explode? That pause lets your higher self enter the room before your ego takes over. And it's not always about being calm, it's about being clear. When you pause, you give the universe permission to guide you instead of letting chaos decide for you. Start practicing in small moments. When your phone rings and you feel overwhelmed, pause. When someone pushes your buttons, pause. It's in that pause where real strength grows, and what happens after might just surprise you. You weren't born reactive, you were trained that way. Since childhood, you've been conditioned to flinch, to defend, to brace yourself for emotional impact. And now, without realizing it, you're still running those same scripts. But here's the truth. What was automatic can be unlearned. Emotional reactivity isn't your identity, it's just a pattern. And patterns can be interrupted. The secret is to stop absorbing everything around you and start observing instead. When someone speaks sharply, don't take it in. Just notice it. Let it pass. You're not a sponge, you're the sky. Think of it like this: you're not erasing your reactions, you're rewiring them. Like training a muscle, this takes practice. At first, you'll still feel the pull to explode or shut down. But if you can stay aware long enough, something beautiful begins to shift. The next time you feel triggered, treat it like data. Pause, notice, ask yourself, is this mine? Or is this a reflex from who I used to be? Because the more you observe without attachment, the more power you reclaim to respond from a place of clarity. And that changes everything moving forward. Drama's favorite food? Your attention. Without your participation, it starves. And while you might not control what others do, you do control how you respond. That's the truth most people miss. Chaos only thrives when you keep feeding it. Someone throws a jab and you feel the urge to bite back. But if you let go of the need to defend yourself, you break the script. No fuel, no fire. Suddenly, the drama loses its grip. Your silence becomes the loudest message in the room. It doesn't make you cold. It makes you conscious. Every time you refuse to be baited, you're not just avoiding a fight, you're reclaiming your energy. You stop being the co-star in someone else's dysfunction and become the director of your own peace. Think of the universe as a mirror. What you react to, you reflect. But what you detach from, you transcend. So the next time someone tries to pull you into a storm, smile kindly and stay still. That's not running away. That's rising above. It's never just the insult. It's the story you attach to it. Someone calls you selfish, and suddenly you're spiraling, questioning your worth. But here's the secret. The event is neutral. Your interpretation writes the drama, and you hold the pen. You've been carrying stories that were never yours. Stories that say, you're too much, you'll never be enough, you have to prove yourself. But those aren't truths, they're old scripts. And if you don't edit them, they'll keep playing on repeat, shaping your life without your permission. So how do you change the story? Start by catching it mid-sentence. When your mind says, they ignored me, so I must not matter, pause, flip it. They're distracted. I'm still valuable. This isn't lying to yourself. It's telling a version that empowers, not imprisons. The universe listens to the words you repeat to yourself. And the more you replace guilt with grace, fear with facts, pain with purpose, the stronger your emotional immunity becomes. And that shift, it's where clarity begins to rise. When someone throws emotional weight at you, don't catch it. Redirect it. That's the essence of emotional judo. You don't fight fire with fire. You use its force to protect your peace. And sometimes your silence is the sharpest move on the board. Picture this. Someone tries to trigger you with sarcasm. Instead of reacting, you smile or say nothing. That pause throws them off. They were expecting drama, not detachment. The universe rewards restraint with clarity. That's not weakness, it's wisdom in motion. Humor can also flip the energy. When tension rises, a light-hearted response can disarm the moment entirely. It's not about being passive, it's about being precise. You don't give them what they expect. You give them what neutralizes their control. This kind of emotional alchemy takes practice. But the more you apply it, the less others can manipulate you. And the less control they have, the more you realize your strength was never in domination. It was in redirection. Emotional strength isn't something you're born with, it's built. Just like going to the gym, you train your reactions through repetition. Every time you pause instead of reacting, breathe instead of snapping, reflect instead of assuming, you're flexing a muscle that most people never touch. You don't become calm overnight, but the more consistent you are, the more your brain learns new routes. It stops rushing to defend and starts learning to understand. That's when you realize you're not just surviving anymore. You're evolving, one decision at a time. Try this. Next time someone interrupts you, don't rush to speak. Breathe. Notice your urge. Then choose. That 1 second of mindfulness rewires your entire response system. It's the universe's way of saying, yes, you're learning. And with time, it becomes second nature. The secret is not to wait for chaos to train. Practice in the quiet moments, when no one's watching, when you feel just a bit off. That's where emotional power is truly born. And when it is, something else begins to shift within your presence. If people know exactly how you'll react, they can control you. Predictability becomes a weakness when it's based on emotional triggers. But when you start showing up with detachment and intention, you break their map. Suddenly, they can't push the same buttons because you've moved the control panel. Think about it, how many times have others used your kindness, guilt, or loyalty to manipulate you? Not because you're weak, but because you were readable. The truth is, detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop being so easy to throw off balance. The power of unpredictability lies in your stillness. When you stop reacting like clockwork, you make space for choice. And choice is freedom. You're no longer at the mercy of someone else's expectations. You become a mystery, not for the sake of being cold, but for the sake of being whole. Let go of the need to explain every move. Let your energy speak instead. The universe respects those who protect their peace in silence. And when people can't figure you out, they stop trying to control you and start respecting you instead. The real flex isn't having more money, more friends, or more things. It's waking up with nothing pulling at your peace. When your inner world stays steady, no chaos outside can touch you. That's the kind of freedom most people don't even realize they're chasing. You've been taught that control comes from managing everything around you. But the truth is, the only control that lasts comes from mastering what happens within. When you let go of needing others to behave a certain way, you finally start breathing again. Imagine being in the middle of conflict and still feeling grounded. Not because you forced yourself to be numb, but because you trained yourself to stay centered. That's emotional liberation. That's alignment with the universe. That's when life bends in your favor, not because it's easier, but because you are. So what happens when nothing can shake you anymore? When your calm becomes your baseline, not your goal. That's when you stop surviving and start actually living. So now you know your peace isn't something the world gives you. It's something you protect. The real question is, are you finally ready to stop being emotionally predictable? Or are you going to keep letting life push your buttons like clockwork? You don't have to fight, prove, or explain yourself anymore. Just pause, choose, let go, and trust that the universe responds to inner strength, not outer noise. Which part of this message hit you the hardest? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your truth. If this opens something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and stay connected. There's so much more to learn, and your journey is just getting started. Go watch the next video now. Your evolution continues there.